Hey, Scott Schrader here with WeAreSC and On3, and we got signing day tomorrow. Signing day eve here tonight, December 20th, Wednesday. Going to be a lot of guys that are going to be signing. It's just kind of become, we used to look forward to February. It was almost like a national holiday for recruiting nuts, and we no longer have that. So now we kind of have even a nuttier stage here in December with the transfer portal going on and the high school kids have an early signing period. But there's a lot of USC's already got like 19 high school commits, 18 or 19. I've lost track, but it's I think it is 19. Had a bunch of visitors that were on campus a couple weeks ago, and many also came and visited this past week, most on the weekend, but this past week as well. And Upton Stout was a cornerback from Western Kentucky. Lorenzo Cowan, an outside linebacker from Savannah, Georgia. Kalolo Taiaga from Northern California, an offensive tackle, and actually exceptionally talented raw offensive tackle. People that have really evaluated him hard said this is a guy who has an opportunity to be an All-American type guy. So we'll see. He's a raw football player. He stepped on a football field for the first time this summer. So lots to look forward to see on how he develops. But it's probably going to be a couple of years. Isaiah Rubin, cornerback commit from Los Alamitos, took his official visit. Jade Abasiri from Minnesota was a Minnesota commit. He took his official visit, and Dominic Kirks was scheduled to. He did not make it. He's committed to Washington. So USC started off last week. They got a commitment from Jade Abasiri. They got a commitment from Taiaga, and they got a commitment from Lorenzo Cowan from that first group of official visitors a couple weeks ago. Upton Stout is everybody's predicting him to end up signing with Michigan. So I haven't heard anything from our end that would indicate that the USC is the school to beat on that one. So I think it's probably going to end up Michigan. Then this past week, Maurice Rodriguez, offensive tackle from Saddleback College, 6'6", 6'7", 320 pounds, big dude. Visited Georgia right after USC. Florida was hot after him. And he's actually somebody I have not gotten any feedback from, so I'm glad we're doing this tonight so I can remind myself what I need to do. Nate Clifton, he from Vanderbilt, another defensive lineman. So this was a big get for USC. He committed. Dylan Gresham, Oregon wide receiver commit. He visited last week. I haven't heard the latest on him, but at one time it was thought that USC did have a shot. Not saying they had a great shot. I just heard they had a shot. Obviously, the fact that he was visiting indicates that. Running back Mario Anderson from South Carolina, he actually committed to Memphis yesterday, or the day before. These days are like, they all seem like one day right now. Kamari Ramsey, UCLA safety, one of the top ranked safeties in the country this past season. I think number one in the Pac-12, or right up there among the top guys. Was actually committed to USC out of high school, Sierra Canyon High School. He took an official visit to USC. Then the next day he flew up to Washington, and then the following day, Sunday, he was at Ohio State. We put a prediction in, a USC prediction in for him about 4 days ago. So it looks like that's where it's going with him right now. Achille Arnold, committed to USC. Oregon safety, another one of the top ranked guys in the Pac-12. His brother, Easton Mascarenas Arnold, linebacker, again, from Oregon State. All these guys that USC passed on a few years back, they're now all Pac-12 guys. He committed to USC, so they got him. Jaden Walker, a linebacker from Michigan. He's not going to announce until February, but we think USC's got a chance at him. He's currently committed to Michigan State. Carlone Jones, it's a guy Sean Newer really wanted. Bay City, Texas, 4-star, committed to USC yesterday. And Woody Marks. Woody Marks might be one of the storylines that we have tomorrow, in that he's going to announce his school choice. We believe it's going to be USC. We put a prediction in him for a few days ago. So, there's not a whole lot left. Marks is kind of the only guy that we're aware of that's going to announce tomorrow. But, there could also be some surprises. USC is being really quiet right now. So there's stuff I'm sure that I have no idea that's going on. We're pretty much up on top of what's going on. But there was some talk today about DJ Lagway, 5-star quarterback committed to Florida. from Willis, Texas. That's I think it's about 30 minutes north of Houston, actually north of George Bush Airport in Houston. It's probably an hour north of Houston. And he visited USC a couple times, maybe even 3 times, and it just turned out that Florida put together a pretty good NIL package, and I think that's going to win out in the end. I think he's going to stick with his Florida commitment. But Riley was on the phone. They were on the phone together. There was some talk. There was a buzz that was going on that USC's coming on strong, and potentially they were, but we were also found out that it's not going to be happening with USC with DJ Lagway. So other than that, Kamari Ramsey could be announcing. There could be some other transfers that potentially announced, but other than that, it's going to be a relatively uneventful signing day tomorrow compared to the way they used to be. We used to get a lot of announcements. And again, as I'm saying this to you guys right now, the stuff I'm talking about that I'm unaware of, that could all play out tomorrow. So, I'm not saying it won't be an exciting signing day. It's just not appearing that we're not planning on it being. But it's going to be a good recruiting class. It's not going to be the highest ranked recruiting class, but there's some perception that USC has just gotten desperate and offered a bunch of 3-stars. Well, the only 3-star, everybody that USC has committed currently on defense is a 4-star, is ranked a 4-star by at least one network. So, and these are guys that, there's guys that On3 has ranked a lot higher than other networks as well. Jade Abasiri is one of those. He's a top, I think he's ranked 280 overall, maybe even better than that. Desmond Stevens, linebacker from Michigan. He's another guy we have ranked in the top 250, I think. So these are guys, there's a lot of good players, but the thing that stands out the most about this class is that they got Roy Manning specifically, earned these commitments from Cameron Fountain from Atlanta, Georgia. The entire SEC was after him. This was a highly recruited prospect that USC is going to sign tomorrow, barring any unforeseen stuff. So I almost have to add the caveat nowadays. It's kind of like a never know situation. But we haven't heard anything that he's not going to. So you have Elijah. You also have Elijah Newby from Connecticut, outside linebacker. Maybe we'll end up playing linebacker at USC. This, of all the guys that I saw play on defense this year, that USC has a chance to get. This was a guy that stood out as much as anybody. This is going to be a really, really good football player at USC. Somewhere down the road. He's just a guy that when you watch, they just do things differently athletically. And, I watched him play outside linebacker, edge, and played safety the game that I went and saw him play. And he was on it. He has the ability to cover. So, I think if he does end up at linebacker, you're going to have a guy that's going to be able to cover tight ends and do a pretty damn good job of it as well. But he's also a sure tackler. That's the thing that stood out actually the most to me, is this guy knows how to tackle. Knows how to position himself to make the tackle, which is just as important sometimes. Gaining leverage, and he likes to go low. He likes to go wrap up the legs. And I think, quite frankly, we didn't see enough of that at USC this past season. So he might be able to come in and help people out with, watch what I do. So, I could go on a rant here about stuff, but just wanted to kind of do a quick update here on signing day eve. Come check out WeAreSC. We're having a signing day special right now, 50% off an annual subscription, which ends up costing you like $50 for the year. And you make your way over to WeAreSC. We're putting so much stuff out there for you guys and we feel like we're a place that you all can go and feel confident about what you're reading from us. Oftentimes we're where people go to get confirmation. Is this bullshit? Is this real? What's going on, Scott or Mark or Eric or whoever it might be? Marshall, definitely Marshall, and I will handle the recruiting stuff mostly. But it's just, and that requires a lot. It requires a lot of time for us. We answer a lot of questions on the message board. We try and answer every one of them, and some are not answerable, but our community is really thriving. We've gained so many new subscribers over the past few months. So it's really popping at WeAreSC, and we'd love to have you come over and join us. So anyway, Scott Schrader signing off for now. That's just kind of a little bit of a teaser for signing day, a 10-minute teaser. So hopefully you made it this far.